Broadcasting worldwide to every nation, this is the Gospel America Television Network. Broadcasting to every nation on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and online at gospelamerica.net. It's time for Real Talk with the Jenkins, featuring Lady MJ, Pastor Marcella Jenkins, and Dr. G, Dr. Gary Jenkins. And now, let's join Real Talk with the Jenkins.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Jenkins.
And I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins. And we want to welcome you to Real Talk with the Jenkins. Now, this week we have a very, very special guest with us, two guests with us. They are the father and the stepmother of one of the precious little boys that was killed and tragically taken away from us back in May at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. His name is Uziyah. We're going to meet the parents in a moment. It's all coming up next on Real Talk with the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins will be right back after this commercial break.
My name is Travis with Grace Transmissions. Here at Grace Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Grace Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority.
We're here when you need us.
Gray's Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo.
I'm Dr. Leon. I'm an independent interventional cardiologist practicing in San Angelo over the last 18 years. This room is our endovascular suite. This is the first outpatient cath lab in Concho Valley. We perform invasive procedures to improve the blood flow to the patient's legs, arteries, and veins. We have all the equipment we need to perform these procedures very safely in these outpatient settings. We can perform atherectomy, which means remove the build-up plaque from the arteries of the legs, do balloon angioplasty, implant stents if needed, and we have all the technologies that the major medical centers have required to perform these procedures.
Call Cardiology Associates of West Texas at 325-944-1240.
RM Electrical is San Angelo's premier choice for residential and commercial electrical services, big or small. For over 25 years, RM Electrical has gone above and beyond for our customers, making sure that our work exceeds their expectations. So whether you need new light fixtures, remodeling a kitchen, or building a new commercial property, you can trust RM Electrical to do the job right and treat you like family. Speaking of family, we're working on our 4th generation of electricians. RM Electrical. In the dark, we light the way.
And now back to Real Talk with MJ and Dr. G.
We're back, and our special guests are Sergio and Crystal Garcia. They are the parents of Uziyah Garcia, who was one of the precious little souls that was taken away from us back in May at the shooting at Robb Elementary School. I want to welcome the both of you to Real Talk with the Jenkins, and so we'd like to ask you simply, take us back to what was going on when you first heard that your son was taken by this terrible incident.
Well, I was working, and my grandma, my aunt, and my mom, they were calling my phone, but my phone was in my locker. We're not supposed to have our phones at work or while we're working, so it was in my locker. And then when we got off, I got off like around 3:30, 4 o'clock. I saw my phone, and then my grandma had texted me, 911, call me. And so I called and I said, what's going on? And she said, there's been a shooting at a school. Call the kids, make sure they're okay. And I said, I thought, you know, it can't be my kid's school. Like, you don't really think it would happen to you. It's hard to take it in and to acknowledge it and to think it's true, or, you know. So I called my daughter. My daughter the first time I talked to my grandma and my mom, they told me there was a school shooting. So automatically I thought it was a high school shooting, you know. So I called my daughter and she answered. She says, Dad, yes, I'm okay. And I said, are you okay? Or there was a shooting. Are you okay? And she didn't say there was a shooting at my brother's school. She just said, no, I'm okay, but call Uzi. We call him, his name is Uziyah, but we call him Uzi for short. He said, call Uzi, make sure he's okay. And I said, okay. And I called and I called and I called and nobody answered. And then finally I called his half aunt. I called her 3 or 4 times. She didn't answer. I think about the 5th time I called, she answers. She says, there's been a tragedy, just been an accident at a school. The police don't let us in. I'm thinking it just happened. You know, it's 4 o'clock. I'm thinking it just happened. It took place around 11 o'clock. So when she said, yes, there was a shooting at Uziyah's school, my heart fell to my stomach. I went cold. I'm thinking, no, it can't. My son's okay. My son's okay. My son is okay. He's gonna be okay, you know. And then she didn't say it was in his classroom. I called back and I said, okay, so are they releasing the kids? What's going on? And she said, no, they haven't released no kids. Some kids have ran out. They're in the neighborhood. They have posts. The cops didn't let them go in, and they were out there for quite a bit, waiting. And I'm getting home and I'm getting off of work and she says, but you got to know that it happened in his classroom. Oh my God. And I said, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You know, I automatically broke down. I said, no, like I couldn't. It was something that I've never experienced before. Not knowing, but still knowing that it happened in my son's classroom was something that that I never thought it would happen, and it hurt. So I got in my car and I started calling Crystal, and I said there was a shooting in Uvalde. They told us they're telling us that they're not letting people go in and get the kids. They don't know where Uziyah is at. He could have been one of the kids that got away. He could have been a victim. He could have been this. He could have been that. So I'm calling her back. Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And she was like, well, you're more than welcome to come down here. And so I jump in the car. I go get Crystal. We go put gas, and we are hauling butt, you know. And then it starts raining. It was raining and pouring, and our visibility on the street was not good. But I didn't want to stop. I drove as fast as I could. I wasn't saying anything. I was just in my head. I was praying to God, please let my son be okay. About 30 minutes before we get to Uvalde, I call her, have you heard anything? She said, come to my house. I gotta tell you something. And then I said, no, what? Tell me now. And she said, your son was one of the victims of the of the shooting at the school. And I broke down. I was angry, mad. I didn't know what to think. I started beating up her car. I was so angry.
Wow. While you was driving?
No, well, she ended up driving, so we pulled over. I got out of the car and I was heartbroken.
And it's still,
yeah.
I still see it in you.
Yes.
We are so sorry.
Yeah.
And I know you've heard that from so many people, but you got to know that while there really isn't much that we can do except know that your tears are not in vain. We see your tears, we feel your heartache, and we're so sorry to you, Crystal, to his mother, and all of the members of the Garcia family. And one of the reasons we wanted to have you on our broadcast today is because of the fact that you all had a tribute to Uzi at Kids Kingdom Park here in San Angelo, and it was a moving tribute to this precious young man that we see here in the picture on the side of us here. But there are a lot of people that are weeping and crying with you, and there's a myriad, a multitude of people across the nation whose hearts have been just broken. Because when we, as parents, we send our kids to school, you don't expect to get a phone call that your child has been taken away because of needless violence like this. Crystal, you've been kind of quiet, and as he was driving and arriving at the school, what was going through your mind as you saw the reaction from Sergio?
Just the worst, pain, sympathy. At the same time, I had to be strong for Sergio. He was on the floor in the middle of the side of the road, just crying and screaming and yelling, and I had to calm him down, get him in the car so we can finish our drive to Uvalde, to see his other kids, to get more details on what happened. And it was hard. I had a really good bond with Uziyah, and knowing that he was gone was hard for myself, for my kids, and he was the best stepson that anybody could want.
It must have been hard for you to continue to drive.
Yes.
You wanted to get there, but you didn't want to get there.
I was literally going 100 miles an hour when we got the phone call that he was a victim. Wow. And it was hard.
Was it had to stop raining then, or was it still raining?
It was still raining.
Wow.
It rained the whole way over there, the whole way back. We traveled to and from for about 3 days. To Uvalde, back home.
Wow.
To Uvalde, back home.
Each day?
Each day.
We tried to get a hotel, but the hotels were booked. All of them.
With the news media and all of the spectators that were there.
Yeah.
So we had to drive back and forth almost every day for 3 days. So I was there for when it happened on that day, and then we just kept driving back and forth. Mm-hmm. Not so long ago, they had a tribute they had a mural for my son in Uvalde, and I went back there recently for that. We kept going back and seeing the crosses that they had at the center, and then
The school itself.
How do you want Uvalde, not Uvalde, Uziyah to be remembered?
I want him, me personally, I want him to be remembered for who he was. He was very loving, generous, kind, funny, outgoing. You know, he was an amazing kid.
Yeah. Uziyah loved the world.
Really?
Uziyah loved the world. When he was younger, he would put on a Batman outfit. He had a mask and a Batman cape, and then he wouldn't want to take it off.
So he loved Batman.
Yeah. So I would just let him wear it, and you know, everybody was like, take it off of him, take it off of him. No, I don't care. You know, he don't care, I don't care. We just go to Walmart or H-E-B or stuff like that, and he would go in there and he would fly around with his cape, and then he would look at people and he'd be like, I like your shoes, man. and he would just go up to random people, and you know, he was very, very kind.
Very loving.
He didn't like bullies. He was into gaming. He wanted to be a gaming. What are they called? Yeah, YouTuber. And he wanted to be, I guess, somebody who gets recognized. You know. And
yeah.
If he was still here, I'm pretty sure he would have eventually been it, because I taught him how to ride his bike, and in less than 20 minutes, he already knew how to ride his bike without training.
Wow.
Yeah, so he caught on really quick. But that day was, I mean, I was proud of him. You know, I've always been proud of him. He's always had good grades. He loves sports. I just want him to be remembered, you know, as a good kid, and also with the other kids. I mean, they were young. I mean, innocent.
Yes.
Defenseless. He was a good kid. He was a very good kid.
Well, we're going to have more on the life of Uziyah, better known as Uzi.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Just recently in San Angelo, a special memorial service was held at King's Kingdom Park here in San Angelo to remember and to keep the memory of Uziyah Sergio Garcia alive. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Real Talk with the Jenkins will be right back after this commercial break.
My name is Travis with Gray's Transmissions. Here at Gray's Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Gray's Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority.
We are here when you need us.
Gray's Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo.
I'm Dr. Leon. I'm an independent interventional cardiologist practicing in San Angelo over the last 18 years. This room is our endovascular suite. This is the first outpatient cath lab in Concho Valley. We perform invasive procedures to improve the blood flow to the patient's legs, arteries, and veins. We have all the equipment we need to perform these procedures very safely in these outpatient settings. We can perform a atherectomy, which means remove the build-up plaque from the arteries of the legs, do balloon angioplasty, implant stents if needed, and we have all the technologies that the major medical centers have required to perform these procedures.
Call Cardiology Associates of West Texas at 325-944-1240. And now back to Real Talk with MJ and Dr. G.
Welcome back to Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Lady MJ.
And I'm Dr. G.
And we are the
Jenkins. Now, Lady MJ, I'm hoping I get this right, but we're so excited to have two special guests in the studio with us. One is the father of 10-year-old Uziyah Sergio Garcia and his stepmother, Crystal Garcia. They are here with us as we talk about the life of a precious young man who was taken away from all of us during the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. Just recently here in San Angelo, a special memorial tribute was took place to keep the memory of Uzi alive, and that's how we met the Garcia family. I wanted to go to Uvalde, but it was just a crazy period of time, as you know. It was hard to get down there, to get around through all of the traffic. Hotels were booked up, and it was just a mess as far as people all over the place.
The city of San Angelo, Kona Ice, the owner of Kona Ice is Carlos, Susanna from Hispanic Heritage. She's the one that is keeping my son in San Angelo. You know, I know it happened in Uvalde, but my son was born and raised here.
That's right. The connection, in case you didn't know that, and we didn't mention that, is that Uzi was born here in San Angelo.
And raised here. Yeah, he was here for 10 years. He was born and raised here 10 years. Me and his mother, we've been together for 10 years. But we recently separated. It's been about going on 5 or 4 years since we separated. But yeah, we raised him here. I mean, he's been going to TLCA, the academy, which we just had. They had a tribute game for him. It was on a last Friday. Last Friday they had they gave us a jersey for Uziyah with the picture of it on him. Wow. That was Friday, and then Saturday was the ceremony for the bench and the plaque at Kids Kingdom. So I mean, people are still certain people are still looking out for us and keeping Uziyah alive and remembering him. You're right. But like you said, the funeral. After the funeral, after everything is blown over, everybody forgets. Everybody forgets, but we're still hurting. Family, my grandma, my sisters. Yeah. I mean, my stepsons, the stepmom. I mean, we're still hurting. It hurts every day.
How long was he in Uvalde?
He was only there for about
9 months.
8 months. I say about 8 months, 8, 9 months. Yeah, he was only there temporarily. I had to go through a court thing, so you know that was taking its time, and I guess it wasn't fast enough. So now I have to live with the outcome, you know. But I'm taking counseling. I go to biblical counseling with Donna Moon.
Donna Moon.
He's been helping me out a lot. Also, I got close to Ryan Buck. Ryan Buck's a good man. We've been attending Emmanuel Baptist. But yeah, if we can, if I could, or everybody could, not forget about my son. I mean, I know it was 20. I know it was 21 kids or 21
Children,
people that passed away. But like I said, my son was from San Angelo, you know, and I wish he could have been here. I wish he was still here, you know, in San Angelo. But
all things work together.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, everything will work out. We say that. I know that right now it's like impossible, you know, like you don't see it, but it's a wound. And some wounds heal quick and some wounds take longer to heal. But there's nothing, just remember the good times, that who he was, what he brought while he was here.
And the other point that I would like to bring out is that as tragic as this is for you all and for your family, we have an assurance in God's word that you're going to see him again.
Yes.
And that gives comfort to me with the loved ones in my family that I lost. So if I can't do anything else but just put you in remembrance of that, that we see life only from our perspective on this side of life. But I heard you say something earlier, and that you got there too late, and that it almost sounds like I hear a little guilt there. And I want you to know what happened to Uzi is not your fault. It's not, you had nothing to do with what happened there. We're out of time, folks. I wish we could talk a little longer, but time is of the essence. But our special guest is Sergio and Crystal Garcia. They're the father and stepmother of Uziyah Garcia, who was tragically taken away in May during the terrible shooting at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. But rather than focus on the tragedy that happened back then, we want to stay focused on the memory of a precious little boy who touched the lives of so many people. And we want to remember Uziyah Sergio Garcia, this precious little boy who's now dwelling in the kingdom of heaven with our Father. We want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. This is my first. This is my first interview or on TV, so I'm sorry for being nervous and
no apology necessary.
Not at all. Not at all.
Those of you at home, let's remember to take care of yourselves and each other, and let's show the love of God and the kindness that we're destined to give to everybody we come in contact with. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ. And we are the Jenkins.